I'm the last person standing between them and what they really want. And what is that?
What's up, everybody? It's Josh. What do the Skrull want with Tony Stark's technology? Because in the brand new Secret Invasion trailer, Nick Fury is talking about just that. He's talking about how he is the only person standing between them, presumably the Skrull, and what they really want. And on top of that, we see Don Cheadle in the Secret Invasion trailer, and we were told by Marvel Studios at D23 that the 6-part show Secret Invasion is going to tie directly into what they do in the 6-part Armor Wars show. To me, that pretty much confirms that what the Skrull are looking to get from Earth is something that Tony Stark created, something that will then be a huge talking point and a center plot point for the Armor Wars show. And perhaps even the Armor Wars show itself will have some of the Skrull and maybe even the Kree trying to get their hands on whatever this thing is. And I have several thoughts on that, and before we get too sweaty and have way too much fun speculating, I just want to stop for a second and say that I'm so damn excited for Secret Invasion. I felt like this trailer was fantastic. It has a very serious tone, it looks great, but it also solves two of the huge problems that I've had with the MCU shows so far. The fact that it's going to directly connect into Armor Wars is huge. It means that not only will this show impact the wider MCU, but it's going to directly impact another MCU show. One of my big complaints about the Marvel Disney Plus shows so far is that they feel really disconnected from the wider MCU, and they're really not must-watch content. Like, the MCU kind of made its bread and butter by making it so every single film they released was something that you should check out to understand what's going on in the entire universe, but also just to be informed of all of these cool little Easter eggs and fun things that will pay off later. It's this really fun experience, but the MCU shows have felt, well, kind of just separate, doing their own thing. I mean, Moon Knight, Hawkeye in particular, the She-Hulk show presumably here, even though there's stuff that they are touching on that has to do with the MCU, most of the stuff there is just for the show. And in fact, as a Marvel fan, let's be honest, a really big Marvel fan, it's been kind of sad that after every single one of these shows comes out, it seems like we get hit with a barrage of headlines of cool ideas, fun things that would have really impacted the show that were ultimately cut for whatever reason. And so you're having awesome Marvel characters like Nick Fury, like Don Cheadle's War Machine, having a big thing to do in the Secret Invasion show, but they're also going to be in, presumably, Armor Wars. That's dope. Shows that matter, shows that have a wide impact on the MCU, and shows that directly connect to each other. I think that's a really cool idea. And the other big thing for me is that these shows feel very serious in tone. Now, we haven't seen anything about Armor Wars, but just the scenes that you see in the Secret Invasion trailer, they look really intense. Like, it looks very serious, and whatever's going on here is a really big deal. And I'm sure there still will be some Marvel levity and some jokes like that, but damn, dude, feels like these two shows might be some of the best stuff that Marvel has done on Disney Plus so far. But what's the deal with the Skrull? Why on earth are they on Earth? Well, I tend to think this will have something to do with the Skrull wanting to expand their empire. You know, the Skrull themselves kind of different in the MCU compared to what we have in the comic books, but I believe, you know, that they're going to have a version of the Skrull in Secret Invasion that are more like the ones in the comic books. Perhaps the events of the snap that was felt universe-wide that cut their numbers in half, or perhaps even the events of the Captain Marvel movie, I think will lead to a more militant group of Skrull wanting to take over the Skrull Empire and expand it into other parts of the universe. And we know that just like in the comic books, the Kree and the Skrull are at odds and they've treated each other pretty poorly in galactic wars. Perhaps the Skrull are coming to Earth just simply to get weapons from Tony Stark in order to be able to then defeat the Kree. And I mean, this could just be Stark armor, which I think would be freaking awesome to see Skrull actually like wearing a Mark 50 nanotechnology suit of armor. That would be incredible. It could be drone technology like you see with the Ultron drones, or before that, the Iron Man drones. It could even be some of the code for Ultron or Vision or something like that. I also find it really compelling that Tony Stark was able to create a suit of armor that was able to withstand the power of the Infinity Stones. Now, as far as we know it, the Infinity Stones are currently off the table in the main 616 Marvel timeline, but perhaps the Skrull have identified a way to find the stones again or to create them from the atoms that are out there, and maybe they need technology that can handle the power of the stones in the same way that Tony Stark did at the end of Endgame. Now, he did actually die when using that, so maybe it's not the best technology, not the safest to use, but it's just crazy and cosmic enough to be something that the Skrull could perhaps be after. Now, the next thing that the Skrulls could be after as far as from Tony Stark's armory would be time travel. I don't think we can put this off the table, and it would be really interesting if this was something the Skrull were looking to get, because Tony Stark is the one in the MCU that essentially creates time travel, through that Mobius strip, is able to help Scott Lang actually perfect the time travel, and then they do the time heist in Endgame. And it's possible the Skrull in some way have become aware of this technology and that this crazy human on Earth was able to solve time travel. Maybe the Skrull want to go back in time to before the snap and stop something crazy like that from happening to their people, which, yes, probably likely devastated them. Maybe they want to go back in time and defeat the Kree or prevent the good Skrulls from taking over the Empire and having a lot of influence. Or maybe the Skrull have had some kind of interaction with Kang the Conqueror, or are aware of a debacle of time travel and the instability of time now in the multiverse. I know that's crazy, but it's possible that they have figured that out and that they are trying to go to the source to get the time travel to be able to either defeat Kang or do what Kang is doing. Maybe they want to conquer not just parts of the universe, but parts of time as well. And the last thing that the Skrull could be after, which to me would be so fascinating, would be a version of the Super Soldier Serum. Because let's not forget, the Super Soldier Serum was created by Tony Stark's father and Dr. Erskine in the first Captain America movie. And on top of that, Howard Stark had vats of Captain America's blood, which the Winter Soldier killed him for and stole, which led to the creation of even more super soldiers. And the Super Soldier Serum then goes on to create the Hulk. And now we have people in She-Hulk trying desperately to get Jennifer Walters' blood to be able to recreate the Hulk formula. And oh man, would it be crazy if the Skrull were coming to Earth and trying to get Tony Stark's secrets to be able to create a new version of the Super Soldier Serum or a Hulk serum to create Hulk-like Skrulls. Or maybe this is how we get to the point where we have the Super Skrull, a Skrull that can have all of these different powers and abilities. I mean, heck, it could be all of those things. It could be none of those things. I believe that either way, this is such an intriguing thread for them to be playing with. We know the damage control is also housing a lot of Stark tech and weapons. They seemingly are involved in what is going on in Secret Invasion, and perhaps some of these agents that we've seen throughout these past couple of movies and shows, that like they're in Miss Marvel, they're in Spider-Man No Way Home, maybe they are Skrull. And I think that's going to be one of the most fun things about going into this show and going forward in the MCU. Part of the magic from the Secret Invasion comic book story was wondering how deep the infiltration had gone. Who is actually still a human? Who is a Skrull? What is the deal with that? And there are a lot of crazy layers and reveals and consequences moving out of the Secret Invasion storyline that shape and rock the Marvel universe. And I can't wait to see what is done with this awesome storyline in this show, in Armor Wars, and perhaps we'll have lingering effects, new Skrull-like characters, or cosmic galactic relations now established after these two shows in the wider MCU. Hope you had fun watching this video. If you did, do me a favor and smizash the like button and subscribe to this channel and the live streaming channel to stay up to date on all the dope nerdy things happening out there in the world. And if you still want to watch more, check out this video on your screen right now about what the frick happened at the D23 Marvel presentation. We have a deep explanation as to why the Fantastic Four cast was not announced and why there were no mutant announcements. It's a good video, breaks down what the latest reports on that are. I mean, it's right on the screen like right now. Why don't you just give it a click?